Aluka. So he presented and court to determine fate of Chairman Wontumi on Monday. That's the 21st of March 2026. Government targets corporate for prosecution. So that's the Deputy Finance Minister over the Thomas Nyako Ampem. Of course, and spillover of Boko conflict. 23 arrested over Galamsey in Odan River Forest Reserve, and dismantle barriers to women's interest development. That's Professor Ikia Brintum. So this and some other stories, when you purchase the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning, you'll find in there. The Daily Guide is also saying minority raises alarm over new mining loyalty law. You can find the story on page 3 of the Ghanaian Daily Guide newspaper this morning. And wants me to know accused into witness. So when you purchase the Daily Guide newspaper, you find it there. The Chronicle on the front page too is saying Dentra Hima and Wusuhini fights over Akwaboso lands. Lands demands full disclosure of BOG gold disbursement and Nana to lead of BOG gold disbursement and Nana to lead AU election observation mission to Congo. So this and some other stories from the Chronicle. The Meridian newspaper to say, stay away from Jamestown Palace. Kingmakers won Ashakru Bruce Quay say court and chieftaincy cases still pending. Caution please against aiding palace entry. And NPP membership registration. So this and some other interesting stories you can find in the Meridian newspaper. So this and some other interesting stories you can find in the Meridian newspaper this morning. All right, headlines this morning. Stay with us with the headlines with Multi T.
This morning is Ghana Month, and so as much as possible, we're highlighting our beautiful music, what we wear, what we eat, what we say, because we're encouraged to speak our mother tongue. And every Wednesday is a Friday, I beg your pardon, it's Mother Tongue Day, but we can do it on Wednesday. I mean, it's Ghana Month, so we're doing it all through the month. I am Malti T, and you can follow us on GTV Ghana. We're digital, so as you move, you can have us on your phone so that you can follow the conversations we're having this morning on the headlines. At the table this morning on my Mawacho.
It is saying. I have a word of caution for ECG.
Okay.
And I want to tell them, please tell us way beforehand if we're going to find or have problems when it rains. Because yesterday, some of us have said this year the rains could be way before time, so that we can plan.
Do you have an idea why they sent?
I don't know. They didn't send any message. I've looked on the platform. I haven't seen any message.
Right.
But all the way from Roman Ridge, my office, all the way home towards Legon, no lights. And the dangerous thing was the street lights. All were off and puddles of water. So I beg of them, if this rainy season is going to be difficult to keep the lights on during the rains, please tell us in time so that we can plan.
Okay. I believe they are listening and they've heard you. Thank you, Lawyer Jantua. At the table as well, makes a return is Dr. Thomas Anaba. He's MP for Garu. Doc, that's ba.
Alafia. Thank you very much. Good morning to you. Good morning to my co-panelists. And then good morning to our cherished viewers, the good people of Garu. I think this issue of the power issues, whenever it rains in Ghana, we should have lights off. I think we as a group of politicians would have to come together to ask the technicians, the engineers, what is the problem? Because I've been to countries, it snows, it rains, power is still on. Garu, for instance, it hasn't rained, but light is going off. And we are told there's a little bit of sabotage. ECG should look very well. Some people are cutting the F wires on the transformers. I think there must be a national security look out for it. I called the engineer this morning. I couldn't get him. So I'm drawing his attention from what people are picking. Despite the fact that there are challenges sometimes and we are correcting them, people shouldn't be causing more harm to it. But our engineers, please, we want to have Ghana with lights anytime it rains or even when it snows. If it's a terrible storm that comes to pull down poles and those things, we will not blame you. But just because of small drop of rain, we should have blackout. Actually, I don't understand. If it were to be a hospital that maybe some small rain and doctors run away, you hear the noise and the complaints. But this is just a small rain that has come and transformers are all going off. What specifications did they give to the ministers to approve the procurement of those transformers, those gadgets that they use to transmit the lights? We must work it out. Our engineers, we beg you, apply the science. Let's work it out to avoid lights out anytime there's rain.
Okay. I must say, I had a meeting with the Deputy Minister of Energy about 3 weeks ago, and the issue of lights came up, and he indicated to me that one of the major things the ministry is dead on in doing is to make sure the lights stay on. However, with this transformer you're talking about, he was saying that people go and steal. They go and steal. They go and climb ladders, steal street lights. One of the street lights that they had done a week ago then, by the following week, they are stolen all.
Wow. New street lights.
Yes. So sometimes the problem might not only be ECG, but sometimes the problem is us. And for me, that is where the challenge is with the system that we run. We tend to blame government. Yes, they have a responsibility, but majority of the challenges come from us.
How does the West deal with theft? Do they mount CCTV cameras at every transformer?
No, that mindset isn't there.
Okay.
They don't have that kind of mindset.
They go and steal cables.
They go and steal cables. There are people where they get to a traffic light, even a bicycle will stop when the light is red. Your bicycle won't stop, motorcycle won't stop. And sometimes even the pragya, they won't stop. So it is a mindset thing. And if we don't change the mindset, no matter what we do, we will still face problems. A huge example was when the circle was done.
The interchange.
Yeah, it was done. People still wanted to do what? Sleep there, sell there. The one at Flowerpot. People wanted to. It's a mindset that we need to change. I believe the majority of our problems stem from us. And we have to have that mindset change.
Absolutely.
How we do it is something we should all come together and see the best way to do. But for me, it starts from the classroom.
Okay.
That's where it starts from. Because 2000 President Kufuor was in power. How many years now? 26.
26.
If somebody was born 2000, they are 26 years now. So if by that time that child was in nursery and you train that child well with certain morals, they grow with it. I remember when we were in primary school, the moment assembly finishes, you sing the national anthem and you cite the national creed. And it lives with you.
I think that the stealing, the theft of street lights and the rest have problems in people identifying who actually is working with ECG. Other countries you go and they have a specific uniform, they have specific vehicles. When they come and appear there, you know these people are the real people. Ghana, you see people working and they are about 10 of them and they are all wearing different uniforms. They come with different vehicles. The contractors are so many, you don't know who is who and who is that. That is why they are able to steal the street light. Because how can a company come and fix street light and another car comes and is pulling it out and the community is sitting looking aloof? It's because there's nothing to identify them. If we had made it in a way that anybody working on these street lights in Accra must have this particular uniform, must be driving this type of car branded to indicate that they are responsible for repairing street lights, and stop giving patchy contracts to small contractors who are confusing the public. Because Mr. X, company X will come today and fix the light, then tomorrow you go to the next street and company Y is there fixing street light. So when they are coming and they are removing, they'll think they are the same company. Meanwhile, they are thieves. So they are taking advantage. So to me, this is an advice to ECG, NETCO, and whoever. Let's try to get uniform and identification for anybody working on street lights and electricity so that when you are moving, they know you are one of them.
I think, you know, it looks like it's back to the laissez-faire attitude of Ghanaians, that we don't ask questions. In the West, they'll say that if your neighbor sees children not even going to school, they will call the police. That there are children who are not...
Is it only that? If you're a stranger and you come and knock on your neighbor's door, the neighbor next door would open the window and see who it is. If you're still standing there and nobody opens, you quickly call the police. You'll be standing there, one will come and catch you.
So the watchdog role of each other is what? Even the roads, look at how they remove iron rods and the rails and all of that these days. In the name of scrap selling, there are lots of miscreants there. Good morning to the Honorable Emmanuel Bejra. We're trying to get him. He's the chair of the Energy Committee as well on all these power issues at the breakfast table. But thank you, gentlemen, for putting that very important information out there. We're expecting, let me let our viewers know, the Honorable Alexander Kwesi Akwa, who is the MP for Achimda. He'll be speaking for the MPP. When he does join, you see him at the table. Big things to discuss this morning, heading right into it, is the Finance Ministry declaring that war on the audit plunder, 8.1 billion cedis. So in the address to Parliament yesterday, and I'm sure that you saw the very passionate discussions that happened there from both sides, the Ministry of Finance has declared an end to the systemic plunder of the public purse following the release of a damning Auditor General's report on arrears and payables as of end of 2024. They presented a statement on behalf of the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasi Alatuthor Singh. The Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Nyarko Ampem, described a rotten system that has seen 8.1 billion Ghana cedis in public funds flagged over several concerns, you know, and I'll enumerate some of the issues that led to these malfeasances or that the malfeasance was done in the guise of. But let's take a listen to what happened.
Was deemed to be valid for payment. A total of 8.1 billion Ghana cedis was rejected for various reasons, including unsupported documentation, duplication, overstatement, already paid items, falsified stores receipt advice, and no work done. About 1 billion Ghana cedis of the outstanding BTAs, which refers to invoices and IPCs processed by MDAs in 2024, approved by Ministry of Finance, submitted to Controller and Accountant General's Department, and pending payment were rejected. Mr. Speaker, this 1 billion Ghana cedis that was rejected by the audit would have been paid if the Ministry of Finance had not made a bold decision to stop payment in January 2025. About 7.1 billion Ghana cedis of the outstanding IPCs and invoices, which refers to requests by MDAs for payments to suppliers and contractors, and certified for payment by various public officers across the approval hierarchies, have also been rejected. These recycled claims originated from the following MDAs. Ministry of Roads and Highways, 3.6 billion Ghana cedis. Ministry of Health, 384.8 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Energy, 216.7 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Food and Agriculture, 57 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Defense, 40.9 million Ghana cedis. Independent power producers, 36.4 million Ghana cedis. Payment of 10.
That's the Honorable Nyako, who is the Deputy Finance Minister, speaking there. And he mentioned on different fronts, the Defense Ministry, Ministry of Roads and Highways, you know, and all of that, how this monies, breakdown of the 8 billion Ghana cedis, what it went into. And there's a lot of arrears issues that we'll be talking about as well, but that was the Finance Minister. And on both sides, the minority leader having a say, the majority leader as well. And at the crust of it was holding people accountable for 2024-2025, how these monies were planned. I'll begin with the Honorable Thomas Anaba. What do you make of this issue?
Matiti, this is not good news for Ghana. This banter that we saw in Parliament, though it ended up well, that everybody was calling for culprits to be held to, it is surprising that we would allow few people to attempt to do away with 8-point-something billion Ghana cedis, using what they call fictitious claims, meaning that they fabricate the claim. Yeah, when I was a manager at Rich Hospital, some of those things happened. And you try to verify, get people underground to do work, and they'll tell you, no, this invoice you are bringing, nothing was done. When you do your background check, actually, it is true that nothing was done. People are specialized in it. And those specialized in it, let me tell you, be honest, it's not the politicians who. It's the civil servants, the public civil servants who are there. They are technocrats. They do the administrative work. If you don't take time, they will quickly bring a document to you at a time that you don't have enough concentration to scrutinize it well. And they will tell you, oh, what I told you about, this is this. And by the time you sign something that... But thanks to God, the audit team has been able to come out with this. And let me at least commend them for the good work they've done to save Ghana millions of cedis. There was also reports of what we call recycling of invoice. You sell a computer to me, and then I pay you, then you bring an invoice again, asking for it to be paid just because perhaps you know the funding sources. Maybe an NGO, a donor wants to pay for this, government wants to pay for this. You come to government for the payment, and you go to the same donor, looking for the same payment. It means that some of the technocrats working in our ministries and departments are now so used to the place that they understand how the funds are moved very well. And if we don't perhaps recycle them, this is when sometimes government comes and is recycling people from positions, and you think that is not good. It's sometimes beneficial, because if you move people, documents that were hidden, people who took several years not going on leave, they have something. They have something hiding, because you can see somebody has worked for 2 years, he doesn't want to go on leave. For what reason? When you are mandated to go on leave, if you are transparent, why do you fear to leave your office for somebody to act in your absence? Okay. Other things were forged receipts. You go and forge receipts. It can't be the contractor who brought this receipt and asked for it to be put in the gift mix for it to be paid. The gift mix was set up to prevent fraudulent activities. But you see, people are able to pass through the back door to be able to get documents inserted into it without going through due process. I am just disheartened about the way finances of this country are being misused by very few people, siphoned by very few people for personal interest. Look at Ministry of Health, 300 and something million. Can you imagine this? Even people were paid advance to build Agenda 111.
Yeah.
To build Agenda 111.
35.
And they've done nothing. And they are walking about. That is how I believe we need to have severe punishment that are deterrent enough.
This is not the first time the audit reports have come out to say.
Yeah, I'll get there. You see, if we as a country don't formulate punishment that would deter people, and we allow something like you come and negotiate and return the money and you go free. Oh, they have a term for it. Plea bargain. Some of these things should be taken away from our books. At least, and let's go the Singapore, the China way. You get severe punishment for it. It will deter people from getting indulged in this. Roads. We have roads contractors that have received huge sums of money and nothing has been done. Example was the Savilugu, our own place. Oh. Our own Savilugu to Walwale.
Oh, okay.
Savilugu to Walwale. That is a road that one of our big men in Ghana has to travel when he's going to his village. And that is the road I use to go to my village in Garu. You've taken mobilization fee of almost $30 million US. And there's a clause there that if you raise another certificate and they don't pay, the contractor can go with the money. What sort of clause is this? That's what the road minister was complaining. So the contractor has gone away with our almost $30 million free of charge. Because he took the mobilization amount, came and did what he wanted, that he raised certificate and they didn't honor the certificate. So we have lost that money. And not a single pothole on that stretch of the road has been covered. I think the corruption issues in Ghana that we sometimes mostly want to blame politicians. I would say, sorry, it's not all politicians. I think the people who really influence the politicians into this are the technocrats who know the business, who know how to swindle, get their way through to get some of these things signed. And we must deter them from doing it. It is sad. It is sad. Hospitals need instruments, equipment now. We need to retool our hospitals. For 14 good years, all our hospitals have not been retooled. Meanwhile, we have 300 and something million being dashed away. Agenda 111 contractors have taken money. They've not built anything. We don't have hospitals in many districts. And we are sitting here clapping, lamenting. We need punishment. I think the Auditor General must take it up. The Attorney General, whoever it is, must take it up. Let me say, the fast track, what is the name of OSP, must be up and doing. Look, we need punishment. That will deter people. The only thing that scares human beings is when there is punishment. Look, Israel has just passed a law. If you record what is happening and send it out, 5 years imprisonment. That is all. Just recording damages in the country and send it onto social media. 5 years imprisonment. But you have taken money that would build our hospitals, build our schools, build our roads, provide boreholes for our villages, our mothers, our aunties to get water to drink. You have found a way of swindling the country to amass this wealth just for your own personal interest. I think we don't have deterrent punishment enough for culprit. And look, politicians, let's stop defending our colleagues, especially when we know they are involved in criminal activities. Let's stop it. Let them have their lawyers follow them, and let's stop marching to courts and other things, go and sitting before Yoko that we are fighting somebody's human rights and all those things. Look, we are painting a bad picture for ourselves, and those who are really benefiting from it, it's not we the politicians, because I'm not benefiting from it, it's some of the technocrats and some of the business people, the same business people would come and say they are funding you because
they fund politicians.
Yes.
And that's why I'm just wondering if it's not a talk shop and this punishment and deterrent you were talking about. Yeah. Because on the other claim of Agenda 111, they'll tell you that they did not say they were finishing Agenda 111 before they leave office. It was something they started, and they believed that any government that comes would continue. So monies have been paid. Well, we started a project. We will finish the project.
Please, there were timelines for the Agenda 111 projects. They gave us 18 months. It was past 18 months. If they give you mobilization fee and you don't start the work, and after 1 year, mobilization to start, some of them, they didn't just pay them the money. Go and work. For after 1 year, you've done nothing. You think the government should be looking at you to be dilly-dallying with the money? No, you are supposed to be punished because there were timelines. That is why the Auditor General is able to detect that they have to cancel the contracts and they have to refund the money because there were timelines given. We know of contractors who have taken money to do several things who have not executed it. They have to take back the money. But how can you give advance money to somebody and he's not doing the work? If it does that, he should mobilize the money, start the project, raise a certificate, and you pay.
Has that not always been the case? Is that not how the modus operandi has been?
That is exactly why some of us did not understand why they had to upfront the money to them to execute the job. Perhaps because they saw that they needed, and I think there are good laws binding contractors and the government, how government should do its work. Okay. That is what I think. And I also believe that if government gives you a contract, you are not able to execute it within the time and we are giving the money, they should let you pay the money and pay interest. Because the very contractors, these same contractors, if they do work and raise certificate and you don't pay them in time, these very contractors would also ask government to pay interest for their money being invested and you are not paying them on time. So the same coin, the same game should be applied to them. Okay. In that way, they will execute the work in time. But for this one, I think those who took the Agenda 111 money, I'm stressing more on it because I'm a health professional. They have to really let them account for it and ensure that if it's possible, let them pay interest on the monies. Because they have traded with the monies. If they are going to the stocks to buy shares and all those things, they would have made a lot of profit out of it. And you have built the hospitals. Families won't be traveling long distances to other districts looking for hospitals. So they should be dealt with severely. And would fight for that to be done.
I will come back to you on the NSS one as well. I cited that report. But lawyer, what do you make of this report and the sectors that Dr. Anaba has mentioned, the Ministry of Roads, Ministry of Health?
Motiti, good morning. Good morning to our viewers. My brother, good morning. For me, number one issue is close supervision. Who supervises civil servants within the ministries and government institutions to do the right thing? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that when procurement is put in place and a company is, selected, whose responsibility is to make sure that the right thing is done? That's the first point of call. Number two, my brother indicated that we can reshuffle people. But don't you know, the same people in the ministries are the same people get reshuffled. And remember, it's a canker within the civil service. When the minister was mentioning, he mentioned various ministries where the deaths were. And remember, various ministries work together. They work together. So it is not only a question of reshuffling, but it's a question of supervising and making sure that that kind of canker is expunged. Because the canker is deep.
Do you then leave the punishment on the doorstep of the supervisors that, well, if this is not done right, then the supervisors are held responsible so that they ensure that...
We shouldn't sidestep the law. we shouldn't sidestep the law. When you go into the Criminal Offences Act, there are punishments and durations for punishments in there. But you sidestep and say, oh, let's do plea bargaining. Look, 89.4 million fictitious debt under 1D1F. Why? Why would anybody want to 89.4 million? Who was supervising 1D1F? Who was making sure that the right thing was done by 1D1F? And I always say, the 1D1F document, what if you read it? Fantastic document. Beautiful document. It goes right down to domestic farming in your homes. So who would want to give fictitious debt invoices for 1D1F?
Recycled receipts.
Yes. 89.4 million. Then you go to, the finance minister is saying that there's going to be a forensic, one district, one factory. That would be a bombshell with this 89.4 million. And as I always say, people are innocent until proven guilty. But the key to this particular audit that has been done is the people who were given the contract to actually do the forensics. Opposition can do what? Can knock a hole in that. But when they give you the list of people, they are credible agencies. Credible. International.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the key. That nobody could come and poo-poo it. I don't understand why the opposition would want to find fault with it. What they should do, they should go within themselves and pull out those people who are responsible for these fictitious monies that they have, spent. That is public what? Public money. What were we talking about the other day? Beds in hospitals. One gentleman died just because of lack of beds in hospitals. And people are embezzling 89.4 million cedis. No. It doesn't reflect well on us.
I mean, so when you talk
all.
about supervising, there's a Public Accounts Committee as well, which is supposed to give some semblance of following the money trail and how administratively money is used. We hear the punishments that are given out, I'm sure enshrined in the law, as you're saying, but still.
Do they have prosecutorial powers?
Well,
do they?
No.
They don't.
They refer.
They don't. And over and over and over and over and over again, every year they come and tell us the debt that is going on. What happens? Nothing. So people take it for granted. Look, one of the ones that was even surprising to me was the dry spell expenditure on rice. 34,000 metric tons. That was the amount of rice paid for. 24,000 received.
The rest.
10,000 they can't find unaccounted for. Why?
They are paid.
And it says 34,000 being paid, received.
And this is traceable, that you can easily tell who sold what to who and where the money was given or put.
And there's documentation to it. So there is no fear that although there's documentation to it, we will still do what we want to do. No fear. And it boils down to supervision. Look, one of the big challenges I've had with the previous government was the fact that President Nana took his foot off the pedal in terms of supervision. In terms of supervision, the loyalty issue which President Nana had, the fact that if you are loyal to him, he trusts you, created huge challenges for him. And I believe, sitting down in his sitting room today, he will sit back and put his hands on his cheek and he'll say to himself, wow, is this what my people I put in place did to me?
But if he cannot have the overall insight or watchdog role, he appointed ministers to be in charge of these same ministries that these monies.
Did they? Were they able to? Were they able? Look, there's this one, dry spell expenditure on maize. 100,000 metric tons amount of maize paid for. 11,900 tons received. 88,100 unaccounted for. How does this happen? So you then ask the question, where does buffer stock come in all this?
Same person.
Where does buffer stock come in all this? Where does the Ministry of Agriculture come in all this? Where does the Ministry of Finance come in all this? You see the interlinked institutions.
You said it, they work together.
They work together.
But you know, Lord Johnson, hasn't it become normal in our kind of setting that people will say, oh, Odia didi wanejumi?
No.
Yes,
no.
that's what they said.
But it is wrong.
That's what
It is
seems
wrong.
to have normalized
Who
it.
didi aban ejuma ho?
You eat from your work, but not from Abba.
Who didi aban ejuma ho? Even if you didi,
It's your salary.
let's say even if you didi, don't didi 80% and give 20% to government. Even if you say ube didi, give 80% to government and didi on the 20%. But that kind of notion is warped. It's warped. It goes to show we don't love the country enough. And you see, the interlinkage of not loving the country enough is this. Kalam say, we don't love our country enough. Look, there is, and I'll send it to you, there is a caption
Right.
where they are talking, I put it on my status this week, where they are pointing fingers at governments that are elected. But the caption is saying that it's not the governments that are elected, it is the people who elect the governments, and the people who have been elected come from the people within the communities
people who did the election.
Exactly.
Right.
So you see, be scared. Why can't we speak the truth enough? Why? It baffles me. You know the thing that they are doing is wrong. You know where you are driving is not the right place to drive. You see motorbikes coming in an opposite direction when cars are in the right lane. And if you hit the person, but he's doing the wrong thing. And even if you stop to tell the person what you're doing is wrong, he will insult you.
Yes, absolutely.
The other day on the Kanda Highway, they are doing some construction work on the other side. This huge dozer wanted to turn. Instead of going all the way and turning around to come, he wanted to traverse the central reservation there. So he turned climbing the central reservation. I stopped in front of him. I said, I'll let you go. And the cars behind me were what? Were beeping.
At you.
The guy was doing wrong.
They want to just go. That's it.
The guy was doing wrong. And the weight of his equipment would break that central reservation we've done. And it's public money. And people see it and do nothing and say nothing. What is wrong with us? No,
That's what
God
they
helps
say.
those who help themselves. I've been on TV for 26 years and I'm always complaining because I realize that the issues that we talk about are repetitive. 26 years. Repetitive. Why can't we? I didn't Papa. What is it? Is it quick money? Is it laziness? Is it the fact that people aren't paid well, so they're trying to find... What is it? Even if you are not paid well, you can do other small businesses on the side. Look at the quantum of money. And I hope and pray that there will be unity of purpose on this from all the political parties in power today, or who are in this country today.
Okay.
Because the amount's astronomical. How much did he say?
8.1 billion.
How much is that in US dollars?
Oh,
That's about
questionable.
If we had
800 or something.
If we had this 8.1 billion cedis, our gold, what do you call it, was doing well. Our oil was doing well. Would we need to go and get a loan from anybody?
Food is in abundance.
Food is in abundance. Would we need to go and get a loan from anybody? And we've been able to add value to our cocoa. And would we not move faster than where we are today? Is it that people don't see it? Is it that people don't see it? But let me say, this is a huge test for the government in power today.
Okay, and I'll come to the government in power because they have 2 years to go. On the back of all that they campaigned on oral and, you know, fighting corruption that they're coming to do. And I also ask about the punishment regime that Honorable Anaba mentioned, because you're the lawyer. But for the NSS, I'm seeing a lot of the breakdown of the monies. The ghost names don't seem to have gone anywhere. Irregular payments to NSPs, payments exceeding 13 months, that was over 1 million cedis. Payment of NSS funds to internal staff, 20 million cedis. Unsupported payments to National Service Personnel Association, about 9 million cedis. Unsupported payments to NSP vendors, marketplace, over 300 million. Enrollment and payments to NSS personnel with ineligible or invalid ages. I don't know, babies, not yet qualified to do national service. About 1,900,000 cedis. Payments to NSPs without biometric and monthly validation. It goes on unverified payments to volunteers assigned to NSA officers, 38 million. The Ghana Pay system that was also introduced, payments exceeding 30 months, payments without biometric validation, irregular deductions not accounted for, over 100,000, which Ghana Pay, and the breakdown keeps going on and on. And already we know the NSS saga that's, you know, we're dealing with the cases in court, Madam Gifty Oware, and I think she's paying back some of the money, if I'm correct on
some of the money.
That front. Yes, I believe there was an agreement.
She's paying back some of the money. She should be in jail.
So that's why I asked about the punishment regime.
She should be in jail. Look, Motiti.
Because like, people think that our punishment regime takes too long.
Motiti, let me tell you something. The wheels of justice grind slowly. It grinds slowly. But let me tell you something. We are not scared of the governments we put in place. We are not scared of the governments we put in place. Because the governments we put in place are ready to do deals with people who do wrong. I keep saying, I said that Comrade President Mahama should be ruthless on Galamsey. Should be ruthless on Galamsey. With this, he should be extra ruthless. Because the buck stops with him. He cannot allow such malfeasance to go on and will come and say plea bargaining. When it goes to court and these people are found guilty, they are innocent. These are all allegations at this point.
Right.
They are innocent until proven guilty. However, if they're proven guilty, don't bother about whether they are colleagues in parliament or not colleagues in parliament. It is to the state that they have done what? They have executed this malfeasance. And he should be ruthless. You shouldn't give anybody a chance. And I have said, to GTV, I've said to most of you media houses I'm on, I said, have time and go. Why are we worrying? He was leader. He was leader. The same thing if after President Mahama's time, it is found that certain things went on that were wrong. We should be able to pull him in and ask him, President Mahama, under your watch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happened. What did you know about it?
And you think that in the next 2 years, under the what you mentioned, that the wheels of justice grind slowly, President Mahama will be able to ensure, you know, that the justice system fast tracks this and people are locked up.
Well, they are bringing back tribunals.
Okay.
As a way of fast tracking some of these issues. But you see, the challenge is, if it so happens that NDC don't come back in 2028 and MPP come back, it's going to be a different kettle of fish, which should stop. Which should stop. Look, the former Prime Minister of UK, the Indian guy, did they not charge him for overspeeding?
Yeah.
Did the Conservative Party stand by his back and say you can't do it? He was charged. He was charged. One MP, I've forgotten his name, in the UK. In the UK, yes. One MP in the UK was late for Parliament. What did they do to him? Brown, he forgot the mic was still in his ear and he uttered some words. What did they do to him? Politicians should stop following blindly where their own have done wrong.
So you don't blame entirely the people, the civil servants, the technocrats who would say that they take inspiration from the politicians. You're alluding to the fact that
you take inspiration from who?
Well,
you yourself should have conscience. You should be able to tell the minister, where you're going is wrong. For the minister to say, because you said that, I'm sacking you. And once he sacks you, let the world know that this is what is going on and this is what. Yes, I don't understand it.
Let the minister sack you.
Yes. Let him sack you for him doing wrong. You should be able to tell him. Look, you're not given a position because the party wants you or the government wants you to be there. You're given a position to serve the country Ghana. That is number one.
That would be a very
to
arduous
serve
task.
the country Ghana, number one. All these foreign companies that come into Ghana to work, do you think they are working because of their own interest? They are working to make their country better. They are working to make their country better. We should be able to fight for our country within. And that is why I keep saying, and unfortunately, the Electoral Commission has not helped us. You should be able to probe political parties on their finances. You should be able to do that. Absolutely. You should be able to ask. So we just finished a by-election. XXX1, where did you get the money from?
For the TV sets and the motorcycle.
Everything. To the letter T. And when you do it over and over and over again, it now becomes the standard.
But it's interesting. On this same soil, as you mentioned, there are foreign companies and the Ghanaians who work there are prim and proper. They do things to the letter.
When you go to London, would you do things that are ultra-virus to the law?
You cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot.
And that goes to show you we are relaxed here. We don't respect power. We don't respect institutions. When you have a policeman, when he stops you, hey, something for the boys. Why will I respect you? Absolutely. Because I know when I get there and I don't have papers on my car, I can pay you
something for the boys and move. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
No, even UK, remember the king of UK? His brother misbehaved in public.
Yes.
They arrested him.
Yeah.
They didn't care whether his brother is the king or whatever. They arrested him and he had to go and respond. So you see, we are not being disciplined. We are not applying the rules the way it is. We are favoring some people. And the rest would also say, if these people are favored, let me also do what I want to do.
Okay. Dr. Naba, there's...
Sorry, Motiti. Yes, we are at this moment talking about the problems. What are some of the solutions? What are some of the things we can do to hold these things back? I believe one of the things we should be able to do, anybody, even assemblyman, who wants to stand as assemblyman, we should be able to interrogate them before they get that position. Anybody who is going to be put in a position, you might say it's a long and winding process. However,
the due process.
However, if we do it, we get to understand that person who is coming. And if that person does anything ultra-virus to what they're supposed to do, we can question you. When you are coming, you said A, B, C, D, E. How come you find yourself in this position?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Lawyer Jantua. And Dr. Naba, so I asked Lawyer Jantua, even though, he's not in the NDC. But this is your government, and I ask again the timeline. The Independent Prosecutorial Office is the OSP. The OSP has the power, and it's non-partisan. What's the hope that John Mahama and this administration will fast-track these cases? People will go behind bars before 2028 election, and this government will be voted on, if again, based on what has been done about this rot.
I think for the past 1 year and some few months, you've seen that a lot of cases have come up through the OSP or through the Attorney General, and Almighty King Ofori-Atta himself is being at least worked on to see whether we can bring him back to Ghana. These are all steps taken to ensure that those who are corrupt,
including members of your party, Sedinam Tamaklo,
yes,
who is
yes,
still
our
in the wind,
have not said anything contrary.
You are not doing plea bargain for members of your party.
I have, to my knowledge, I'm not aware we are doing any plea bargaining for Sedinam or whoever. But what I want to say is that yes, the culture of the country is such that it makes even corrupt people who are especially politicians very difficult to tackle. I'm going to be honest. Look, prayers, people will come, religious bosses will come, these bosses will come. To me, some of them are the causes of some of these things. But however, the Attorney General has listed a lot of cases that he's handling. And these are major cases and he's handling them. And we see how it is going. The special prosecutor is equally doing it. He has even reported to the country that he has retrieved some amount of monies through his efforts from people who were alleged to be corrupt or people who have agreed.
Is that what we still want to be doing? Retrieving the monies?
To me, that is not what I want. I've already told you my position. I've told you my position. My position is that we should put in laws and punishment that would deter everybody, like Singapore and like China. My friend, you have stolen 1 million, you face it. You even face it with your family. In China now, you face it with your family. Those who benefit from it. Because if they don't do that, you can hide the money with your wife, with your cousin, with your niece. They'll make sure they look for anybody who is related with you to let him come and suffer the punishment. Singapore is equally the same. Why is Singapore progressing? Because there's rule of law. Why is China progressing? There's rule of law. And there's what we call meritocracy to get a position, even a political position, even to become an MP in Singapore. The scrutiny that you undergo before they allow you to become a candidate of any of the parties.
It sieves out
they will sieve out people they believe that, look, you can't contribute meaningfully to the society, and your track record in civil service, public service is doubting. They will not allow you. China, the same thing. Before you even become an MP, you have to become a what? Assembly member or what coordinator to assembly member to this, to that. You move in that hierarchy and get to a position that, yes, now you can become a regional minister or become a parliamentarian. But here in Ghana, excuse me, I'm not saying anybody who has not gone to school is not fit to be in parliament. Okay. Yes, you can have a good track record as a businessman, because there are Makola women, I can say they are sometimes better than some of our economists sitting in TVs and speaking, because they've never gone bankrupt. Their businesses have never failed, but they've always been making it.
Right.
It is how you have to see your track record in helping society, in running a business that is successful. How do you guys get up and appoint somebody, let's say a regional minister, without any serious track record? Ask for a business he has run or a management he has done, and he hasn't, because it's political. So let's get people with good track records and appoint them. That would enable us to know that this person going, it's difficult for him to have an intention to be corrupt. Though corruption can never be stopped. Even the US, there's corruption. Britain, there's corruption. But at least it will minimize. Put people who will think that when they go in, they will work to devolve. And when you are eating from Biaoye Jimano, and you are devolving the place, you are making the company survive. Not like going bankrupt like Cocoa Board. You are making the company survive like Gold Board, and you chop small. Then at least the country can say, oh, Yemfa Manyami. But this one, no, I'm not saying Gold Board. Gold Board, I'm citing it because it's prospering. It's making Ghana hail. But that gentleman, look, is impeccable. There's no doubt about that. They've done everything to run him down, but they can't run him down. I'm just citing it as a government entity that is working perfectly, that is accruing enough resources for this country to continue rising. That is why I've mentioned that company. I can also mail Tor. Tor is doing very well now. If we are able to bring up Tor to work very well, to get a lot of benefits and a lot of dividends for the country, and government gives him something small, at least we applaud him. But here is the case that Anybody at all can become anything. And you don't know how they become. That is where...
So in 2 years, 2028, before the 2028 elections, there'll be that test of faith for the John Mahama-led administration. And I'll ask again that something will be done about this.
Definitely, something will be done.
Drastic as what you want to see.
You've heard the Attorney General warn that when we start going into everything, no one should come and be crying. Because they teased in Parliament that we have accused them just like...
Yes, that's why so many cases on your desk. No. The Attorney General is out in the media saying, you know, this person and this person, we have this. They are not seeing any finality.
I'm not a legal expert like my big brother here. But, you know, criminality and those things, you have to have watertight documentations and proof to nail people down. Yes, we have made accusations against people and then the rest. All those things are alleged. It must go to court for a judge to say that it is true. Listen to both sides and say that, look, it is true, you committed a crime. And let's talk to our judges, please. People you know they have committed crimes, look, it's better you jail them to deter others. If even in 10 years, you can exonerate him for not being guilty. Sometimes even in the US, they do it. They've jailed people 10 years. After some time, they release them that, oh, you're not guilty. But they needed to get somebody punished, and they use those punishments to deter others. I think that, obviously, National Service Secretariat, let me say, these ghost names. If I'm a judge, I won't even waste time. I've said it here before. I won't spend 3 minutes in locking you. How did the names get there and they don't exist? Paying minors, paying old men above age. This one shouldn't waste time. So I think that I'll plead with my big brother, Attorney General. Such cases, take them to the court. Let's see what the judges will do. If we put the blame on the judges, we'll put it on them. But take those people to court, and we beg the judges, lock those people quickly to deter others from repeating same things. But I can assure you that we will work, and this government will work to make sure that all those who committed crimes that have been proved to be true by a competent court of jurisdiction pay back all what they have taken from Ghanaians. And in 2 years' time, people will be happy with the Attorney General and the OSP. For that one, I know they are working very hard. And we should allow them to do the scrutiny that they want to do before going straight to the courts.
What's the most immediate one? Reshuffle?
Reshuffle of what?
The ministries, the agencies, the heads.
For the agencies, and my big brother said it, look, the same people. I said we should reshuffle people.
So fire all of them and bring more. There's the same Ghanaian. And if it's an attitude
and
problem,
he has working my mind.
You know, they're asking you for jobs, Honorable, I know. And there are certain places they want to go to because they say you get
more from there, like customs, like immigration, like GRA. Everybody is fighting to work there because they think that there's something there. They should investigate. If it is that, let's be reshuffling people. That may even minimize it. It may not stop it completely, but I think it will minimize the corruption. So that when you leave your office, we'll see the documentation there and know what you have done there. And at least when you come, it will take you time before you get corrupt. So people working in those areas...
you still get corrupt.
Yes, people working in those areas, airport, port, and GRA, once in a while, reshuffle them and see that...
I remember
reduce the corruption tendencies.
They said the digital system, and the digital system would, reduce all this malfeasance. You can't corrupt them wrong. You can't do corruption using a computer. Lord Gent, I'll give you the last word.
Remember, I said this current government should learn from what is happening. And for me, the one thing that they should do is to be transparent along the way. Whatever you're doing, make sure you open up for people to see what is happening. Right. So that at the end of your tenure, it's not that we are now coming to find that you did this, you did this, you did that. But we have been briefed all along the way. And at the end, we will see the results of what you have done. Right. Because the who is too much. The party thing is my party, so I can't talk about it. It is too much. It is a country you are governing. It is a country you are governing. Try and be transparent with the people. Bring them along as you do your work for them to understand. Minister of Energy, XYZ. Minister of Natural Resources, XYZ. The Minister of Natural Resources, when he started, he said that when he was put in place, we will publish all the financiers. We'll publish all this.
Has
it happened?
Well, we are
Has it happened?
It hasn't happened. We're 24,
this is the kind of
24
transparency
months
I'm
down
talking
the
about.
line.
Don't be scared.
Unless,
Take the bull by the horns. Because if you do the right thing, the people are behind you.
Okay, you mentioned that it stops with the president. So.
We're already giving us 2 years.
No, not yet. 1 year.
1 year, 2 months.
So less than
Please,
24 months. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm speeding the regime. The Honorable Pifa Chimda, unfortunately, he could not make it, but Dr. Thomas Anaba, speaking for the NDC, MP for the good people of Garu, is at the table or was at the table. Lawyer Kwame Jantua is a member of the CPP and a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You have a good Fugu Wednesday. I am Alti Tisida Sadek, and my Fugu is proudly brought to you by Smoky Wealth. You can find it everyone on social media at Smoky World. Oh, it's Fugu. This is the Ewan Toma Fugu from the Gonja side.
This is what we need to see, where we are changing it into other types of
Absolutely.
attire.
The Fugu people are in business. They went to Zambia for a fair and they're cashing out. Oh, you went
I went to Zambia.
Oh, wow.
I had to give my Fugu out to a Zambian.
Oh,
He
they
followed
stripped
me
you
and
naked.
He needs the Fugu. I went to a conference.
Okay.
Parliamentarians on health committees.
Okay, we have to go.
To him. I was not like. I even didn't take a picture of him because I don't want to publish it.
Right,
It was a
right.
gift, but they really like it. They really like it.
It's true. It's true.